Welcome, welcome, welcome. Greetings, dear Pisces, that's you. This is Tarot Lumination with your June 2018 Love and Relationship Report. Thank you for visiting. I know there's lots of other places where you can go, but I'm glad that you're here. It's going to be a kind of a choppy month, and so I thought before we even get into the cards, I know some of you don't like doing all the astrology stuff. I know you like to just show me the cards. But I think it needs to be made apparent, okay? You know, it's one of those months where the planets are scattered all over. So it has a kind of a locomotive effect. There's a lot of energy moving, shifting, moving, shifting, moving, shifting, okay? Simultaneously all the good stuff, simultaneously all the challenging stuff. We have at the beginning, May 30th and around June 1st and 2nd, we're straight into the month. Big fat grand water trine for all you Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer people. And a few days later, we have a grand kite water. Again, it's the same trine there, very juicy, very succulent, very supportive for everybody, no matter who, especially the water signs. But there is a large Cancer Capricorn opposition at the same time. So it's very nutritious, very supportive, very illuminating for all of us. June 6th, we're starting to get into the hard squares. Gemini, Pisces. June 10th, hard T-squares. Aquarius, Taurus, and Leo. June 14th, more T-squares and oppositions, Cancer and Capricorn. This T-square is Capricorn on Chiron and Aries and with Cancer energy. Layered on top of this, it's more of the same all the way through the 15th and keep going through to the 21st when we pile on even more squares, big T squares. Again, these are transits, you know. It's not going to go on forever, but these are very challenging in their own way. Aquarius, Leo, Scorpio. The next layer, Capricorn, Libra, Cancer. These are happening on top of each other, like layers on layer cakes, okay? Very, very challenging things, like a multiple layer tic-tac-toe board. These are going to be ongoing through the month. Right towards the end of the month, more T-squares, getting back to the amplified Aquarius Leo thing, but on the other side with Taurus, okay? Up to the July 1st and through July, still looking pretty choppy. But again, don't take it personally. This is just like weather, okay? Now you can reinterpret those dates for however you want. I just put them out there for you to take notice because I have to look at them for myself anyway. And we just have to make the best of it. And it's such a complex month in terms of the astrology. So many multiple layers that I can't possibly address it on this little channel. All right? Here we go. Cards are well shuffled in advance, but we're going to go to the last second so that you're a witness. We're going to use the Crucible spread, kind of a custom spread for us guys, and you lassies as well. It's on the understanding that there's you, there's a chosen other, and there's the relationship itself. Now, for the singles out there watching, you can watch this for singles if you want, so long as you understand and allow for the laws of attraction, that what you radiate eventually comes back to you. So it means you have to be very conscious of the love frequencies that you're radiating, okay? Excuse me. Don't look at that. I know it's there. Don't be scared. I don't do jumpers, flyers, oracles, and reversals and stuff. If you want to take it personally, you can. That's up to you. Pisces, you have Neptune you have Neptune at 15 degrees right now, so it's at maximum power, maximum expression of the wonders of Neptune energy, the beauty, the universal love, the spirit, the spirituality, but also the deepest challenges that go with it, how we become the experts at undermining ourselves, and all the shadow aspects of Neptune that we all know very, very well. Okay. Cards are shuffled. We're going to cut up now and then going to go for it. All right. All right, here we go. This is your love frequency that you're resonating, Pisces, okay? Think of yourself like a cell phone, okay? It's just radiating, okay? And other people can pick that up. Over here is the energy of a chosen one, significant other, someone very specific in your life, in your world. If not, if you're single, then this may be the sort of energy that you would attract. Over here, deep to the soul of you, deep to the heart and soul of the other, and to the core of the relationship itself. which has its own life and energy itself, separate from you and the other. This is like a container. It is a vessel. It is a crucible, and a crucible is a very strong structure which is designed in laboratories to withstand the intense pressures that occur in alchemical relationships. For example, between human beings, one being and another. It can be a very intense process as we intimate and separate. And the crucible, in a very loving, healthy relationship, provides a deliberately structured, invested, and built up environment that allows the parties to relate, to intimate and separate without everything exploding whenever the going gets tough. We're going to look at the weather, circumstantial energy in just a moment, and then get into the reading itself. So you have the Two of Wands here. This is an indication. To me, it feels like you're anticipating a lot, seeing new horizons in front of you, trying to understand the new landscape that's unfolding in front of you. You have to remember, we're still right here in the threshold, that gateway of the big transition of Uranus into Taurus. It's a huge journey for the next 7 years for all of us. And it's probably going to come up as a repeat story for quite a while now, because Uranus is moving slowly. It's hovering very, very close to the 0 point. So there's a lot of intense pressure right now. If you think of yourself on a gangplank loading from hard dock onto a massive cruise ship, and you don't know where the cruise ship is going, it's a magical mystery tour. Okay, so that's kind of where we are right now. We're all of us on the gangplank. Let's have a look at it that way. So to me, this is good news. It means, to me, it feels like you might be taking full advantage. You might be fully aware of the big fat grand trines and the grand sextiles that are out there for much of the month for you, Pisces, with that Scorpio and Cancer energy supporting you. What are you radiating right now? Okay, let's have a look at this, the Devil. So to me, this is an indication that while you are observing the new landscapes around you, the new opportunities unfolding you regarding love and relationship, either at the most serene and beautiful soul level, or at the very mundane and practical day-to-day level, however you want to look at it, it looks to me that you're actually radiating the energy of being, let's say, intractable in some ways, because when you see all these new vistas unfolding in front of you, it can amplify the awareness of anything and everything that is detrimental to your new journey ahead. And anything that is detrimental is going to feel very, very binding. So if you are radiating an energy that, like, let's say you were here with Tarot Lumination right now in a private reading, it would look, from my perspective, like you are very, very bound up. You are radiating the energy of someone who's aware of how deeply bound you are to existing circumstances, and how this is in some ways very debilitating, very limiting. And there might be lots of pleasurable aspects that go with it, but the pleasure might be the kind of pleasure that is forced in order to compensate for the sense of binding. I hope that makes sense. I don't want to hurt your feelings or anything here, Pisces. You're very, very susceptible right now, very, very vulnerable, because the Pisces energy, the Neptune energy is so strong. But again, it's very hard to understand. It's the most diffuse energy, the hardest energy to understand in all of the astrology and the planets. So if you're sensing the new adventure, but you're also very obviously aware of your bindings, of your shackles, of your limitations, and what is not working for you, that's a problem. In other words, it's almost like being very aware of everything that has got you tied up to the point of being almost immovable, having little chance to even take advantage of this. Let's have a look at the other. Okay, well, the other, they're already starting to, let's say they're on the gangplank that we were talking about earlier. You're dealing with a significant other here who might be, let's say, like they're a little bit farther on in the journey than you. They've got a bigger, broader perspective, and they're already starting to see consequences of how the way things work for them in relation to you are starting to deliver outcomes and expectations that might have been like on hold for a long time, but they're really starting to come into fruition now. They have a chance to come into being, like karmic dues, so to speak, but good karma. I think they call that dharma or something. I'm not an expert in those things. And also, I feel a sense of wish here, like they would really like to see something really good happen for them, because it's about time, because they might have been investing a long time with themselves in their own personal journey. Even though we're talking about a relationship here, we're still individuals in the context of a relationship, and we have to allow for the energy of individuation while parties intimate and separate. Let's have a look. Let's go deeper inside of you, dear Pisces. Okay. With the Strength card here, my feeling is that along with the Devil, along with the Strength card, and along with the little Two of Wands, my feeling here is that in some ways the energy fields that are around you in love and relationship right now, whether it's a specific individual or just the love vibe that you're feeling, the experience that you would be getting from a significant other or from your perspective of the relationship itself, it's putting you in a very challenging spot right now where you're getting glimpses of all the, let's just say, spiritual wonders that are out there and available for you and that you know are your ultimate destiny. For you, the person, in the context of a loving relationship where these kinds of things like your ascending, your spiritual healing and growth and development can most likely occur in a most healthy way occur in the context of a very deeply loving and intimate relationship that is deliberately chosen and built and invested in. However, let's say you've either done that or you're in the middle of that. There's also the realization of, oh my gosh, like, be careful of what you wish for, because you might be in a situation where you are very, very desirous for the freedom that you would like to have. You're also very desirous for the sense of binding that comes with a relationship. In other words, it's like the energy of ambiguity. How can you have that sense of deep intimacy and at the same time a lot of sense of freedom and being released from anything and everything that does not work? In other words, it's like, how, let's pretend I'm Pisces, okay? How on earth am I going to go on my own spiritual healing, my own relationship development, experience the joy and love that I deserve, do the spiritual healing that I deserve in the context of a love relationship where they've kind of got their own agenda going, they're on their own path? Does that mean I'm out on my own having to figure this out? Oh no, I'm not sure. So with the Strength card here, it feels to me that it's like you would really like to maximize, take full advantage of the energies and supportive energies that are around you right now, especially with that grand water trine and all the earth energies right now, the Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo energies that are going to be starting to dominate more and more over the next, not just weeks and months, but over the next years. And so that puts you in a position where it's like, pretend you're on the gangplank and you're looking over and there's the ocean underneath you. There's hard land over there. There's the magical mystery cruise ship over there where you're heading. And then you look down and you see this water down below. And it's like, oh my gosh, it's quite scary. I'm really high up above the water. I am going on this spiritual journey. I don't know, because that gangplank is crowded. There's you and there's everyone else on the planet trying to live their lives as well, especially if it's in the context of a love relationship. It's like there's no going back here. Like, you've made your choices, you've made decisions. I want the deep sense of binding and commitment. I also want to enjoy it very, very much, but I'm also very scared and aware of all the limiting factors that hold me back. So it might be very tempting to be someone who, like, I want out of here. I don't want this spiritual ascendance pathway healing thing and the tarot illumination style is too much. It's overwhelming. I don't know if I've really got it to ascend up to this level of spiritual healing here, because it means having to go through huge amounts of internal restructuring. Okay, so whether they're aware of it or not, it's like this is all about you. Remember, Pisces? We're just including them in the equation for reflection purposes. Let's have a look deep inside of them. Okay. Well, to me, it feels here, Pisces, that they're quite happy. They're quite content on their own in their own way as an individuated being in the context of a loving relationship. Now, whether you're happy or not, it's almost nothing to do with them at all. That's how it looks to me here, because it looks like they are in some way enjoying their relationship with you, and however it's working out for them. Whether they're aware of this dynamic of the relationship, where there is a shared structure, a crucible thing that both of you guys own, I don't know. But it looks to me here that from their own perspective, their own energy, it's very, very simple. I am happy, I am loving, I am loved, I want to love, I want to be loved. And that's very, very simple. And if you're on board, great. If you're not on board, great. I don't care either way. I am happy, and that's just fine. So that's really, really great for them. Thank you very much for them. But it's in some ways, it's just like, okay, where does that leave me? Because in a relationship, we're supposed to be like a team. We're supposed to be working this stuff out together. And also, I want to point out that with that big fat grand trine energy, which is very, very supportive for you, Pisces, we've also got the hard squares, that Gemini Pisces energy, which is going to be shuffling in and out through the month, very challenging squares. So you might be feeling the best of things and the most challenging of things at the same time. Like, how could you possibly have got into a relationship dynamic where you're with someone who's completely on their own path? They're perfectly happy that way, and they may or may not be aware of your own huge dilemmas over here. Like, have you got the nerve? Have you got the spiritual strength, the courage, the capacity to keep going and to actually get on the cruise ship itself, on the magical mystery tour? Or are you like just still holding on to the past? Or else, let's just say, letting the past hold on to you so that you can blame everything on the past if you want to for things that don't work out. Let's have a look at the core itself. Okay, well, it looks not so bad now, because it looks like whether you see it or not, or whether you feel it or not, Pisces, they're actually on board with you. They might not understand what you're going through, what you're dealing with right now, but they're there. It looks like it's almost like, excuse me, I'm me. I have my life, and I'm very, very happy inside, and we've got this thing going on, and I'm starting to see things happening for me over here, and that's just great. And thank you very much. And I can see that you are at the point where it's like a work in progress, let's just say. And I know you might be having difficulties understanding me, because I'm certainly having difficulties understanding you at this time. But again, that would make sense if you want to blame it all on the planets, which we like to do here sometimes at Tarot Illumination. So this is, to me, feels like a really, really mixed bag. And especially, to me, I wouldn't take that as a good thing or a bad thing, because there are often situations where we really don't know what's happening. Let's say you set a course and you're on the course, and then all of a sudden everything is almost like on autopilot. So imagine you're on a car, or you're crossing this gangplank on the cruise ship. You're actually doing it right now. There's no going back. You're going to get on the cruise ship eventually, but while you're in the process of transition, the deep inner soul body of you is radiating the best and the worst. In other words, oh my gosh, it's all so fated, like I can't get out of this anyway if I wanted to. And so, like what happens when you're on like a road trip with a car, and everything's set. Someone's driving things and it's all just moving forward, and everybody kind of goes silent after a while into this kind of like daydreamy trance, and they start just feeling and dreaming and sensing things, the past, the future, the now, the good stuff, the bad stuff. And then all of a sudden somebody honks a horn. Dun, 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 dun. Hey, you're drifting off the road. And then you wake up again. That's what I'm feeling is happening here. You're on your own internal epic journey. They're on their own thing over here. There's a relationship going on. It's just mutual understanding. Like, um, we're still here. Like, we are a work in progress together. I dig you. I appreciate you. I know you dig me and appreciate me. But let's be honest here. You're off on a completely different tangent to where I am right now, and vice versa. But it's not the end of the world. It's just a period in time in a relationship. Let's look at the momentum here. Okay. Well, I'm very happy to see this here for you, Pisces. What this is indicating to me is that it's like this is an affirmation of the Magical Mystery Tour. And there's an opportunity here for you now, Pisces, when it comes to love and relationship, where you might get a chance like to get full exposure and awareness of all the things that have kept you back, that to which you have literally bonded yourself for things like sense of security, stability, habits, deeply ingrained conditioning, and things that are very, very deeply binding, like huge chunks. You start to realize these massive chunks of life that you live that include love and relationship are often conducted on autopilot. Like you just might be hooked up with somebody because you hooked up with them, and then you just deal with it instead of like figuring out, well, what's actually happening now. So my feeling is that with the Fool card here in terms of like momentum and prospects, to me this is very encouraging because it's almost like the energy of, I'm not saying giving up, but it is literally total acceptance and surrender to the Magical Mystery Tour that lies ahead for you. I'd like to say for both of you, but this is really your reading. So they can go off and be whoever they are, okay? But this is your reading. And what it looks like to me is like you are on a gangplank getting onto a cruise ship that is titled the Magical Mystery Tour. And you're not even supposed to know what's supposed to happen. You're just supposed to get on the ship and go. And the spiritual journey will unfold in front of you, but it does mean a lot of, let's say, fated circumstances, fated energies, things where you might feel you have no power to control, but that's part of the mystery, okay? There's a lot of major arcana here, Pisces, and that's telling me that there is a lot going on over here over which you have no grasp at all, over which it's like having to accept and allow for these bigger things that are happening around you. Let's go back to this for a second. Like all of these things here, these are just my personal doodles. I'll just go like this, okay? It's just a bunch of information like a weather report. But that information has profound effect on our bodies, just like the moon and the tides. And it's going to affect you too, but it's happening in such a way where it might feel to you as though circumstances have taken over completely. In other words, you're on the gangplank, get onto the cruise ship. You can't get off the gangplank. You might even want to jump off because you can't handle it. But there's safety measures in place, so you can't get off. You're going to end up on the Magical Mystery Tour cruise ship anyway. There's no way out of it. And that is the time and the place where eventually, towards the end of the month, this will make a lot more sense. And you'll start to realize that maybe this is actually kind of fun. Maybe it's cool not to know everything about, what constitutes a stable relationship or a really spiritually evolved relationship all the time. Maybe it's going to be very, very liberating. That's what I see here, a tremendous liberation from the shackles of the past. Let's leave it at that. That sounded cool. I don't want to mess with that one. That sounds like a nice way to end the reading. So I'm going to end it like that. I'm going to put this over here for your own reference. And then you can reinterpret however you like. Do the routine, you know the drill. Watch for your sun, moon, and rising. And especially if you want to, do the cross-watching for your significant others. Okay. Go Pisces. Go Pisces. Yay. Bye-bye. Thank you.